Today I'd like to complete the doodle diagram on alleles. This is packet page 184 and it will be placed on notebook page 85. Let's begin. In the first box titled homologous chromosomes, we see that diploid organisms have pairs of chromosomes. The chromosomes in the same pair have the same genes, or what we call loci. In the box labeled genes, genes are really specific locations or loci on the chromosome. So for example, we have the gene for flower color, and it's found at the position right here on, let's say this is chromosome number 1 in a pea plant. Alleles are specific DNA sequences at gene locations. So this pea plant has the allele big A and has the allele little a. One chromosome's allele's DNA code may be slightly different from the other chromosome's allele's DNA code. Often scientists use alphabet letters to symbolize the alleles that an organism has. Different alleles may produce different proteins or polypeptides after transcription and translation take place. Some alleles may not produce any proteins. So here on this chromosome, we have the big A allele, and here is the DNA sequence for coding for that allele. Over here on the homologous chromosome, we have the little a allele. Here is the DNA sequence, and it is slightly different. I highlighted in blue the difference from the big A allele. So this DNA will obviously undergo transcription to make mRNA. So remember that transcription is the making of mRNA from DNA. And then translation will take place. So you're making a polypeptide or a protein from the mRNA sequence. So for the big A allele, this protein would be the purple pigment for the flower color. Okay. Over here, we've got the DNA sequence for the little a allele. After transcription, you've got mRNA for the little a. And after translation, you have the polypeptide or the protein from allele A. Okay, talking specifically about the big A allele. Scientists often use a capital letter or an uppercase letter to symbolize an allele that is dominant. Dominant alleles can affect, either positively or negatively, the organism's health, appearance, or cell function. If the allele is dominant, its effect can be seen or are observable, even if the organism has only one of them. Okay, over here in the box for the little a allele. Scientists often use a lowercase letter to symbolize an allele that is recessive. Recessive alleles can affect the organism's health, appearance, or cellular function. If the allele is recessive, its effect may not be seen if the organism also has a dominant allele on the other chromosome in the same gene that has different effects. So in the middle box, we have a term called a genotype. So for the genotype big A, little a, that's showing you the combination of alleles, scientists use the term genotype to describe the alleles that the organism has for the gene the scientist is studying. So this organism has the big A allele and the little a allele in this instant. So going back to our picture in the middle with our homologous chromosomes of our pea plant. So again, at this position, this is the gene for flower color, and we have some other genes. This gene here is coding for plant height, and this plant specifically has two different genes, big B and little b. And at this position, we've got the gene for pod color. Again, this example has got a big C and a little c for that particular gene.